So in this little video we're going to be talking about gut flora and probiotics and prebiotics and when to use either of them or maybe not to use either of them. Now obviously having the right balance of good bacteria versus bad bacteria is really important to be able to fully break down and absorb the food that we are putting into our systems. Now if you have an imbalanced gut flora, you will be more likely to have gas and wind, bloating, bad breath, that kind of thing. However, addressing, identifying and resolving an imbalanced gut flora is not as simple as just taking a probiotic, and there's a few reasons for this. Firstly, the market of probiotics is an absolute minefield. Different manufacturers creating different products. Unless you know specifically what you need, how do you choose which one to take? Secondly, we have trillions of bacteria in our systems. If we are taking a probiotic, which will introduce a couple of 100 million, that is literally a drop in the pond. It may well not make a difference. And in addition to that, if we're taking it orally, it needs to be able to get through our stomach, which is battery acid, and then into our small and then large intestine to be absorbed. So whether probiotics are able to absorb this acidic environment is again a big unknown. There is research which shows sometimes they work, particularly if you've had a course of antibiotics. However, in a lot of cases they've been shown to do not much, or actually even slow down and inhibit the replenishment of gut flora. Now, you will find a lot of people, or a number of people, are unable to replenish their gut flora with probiotics, and often that is because they can't absorb it. So whether they're not able to break it down or whether the fact that it doesn't actually get there, it is unclear. Instead, what people often need to try and do is use prebiotics, which are different. Prebiotics are things which actually feed the good bacteria in our gut. Typically though, they often tend to be things which people struggle to digest. Ironically, things like leeks, onions, garlic, apples have high prebiotic qualities. Now, there might be a couple of different reasons why they find prebiotics difficult to digest and absorb. It could be due to the gut flora itself. It could be due to sympathetic drive. It could be due to low stomach acid. It could be due to hormonal imbalance. Instead, what then people need to do is go after the bad bacteria. And if you feed the good bacteria and you're trying to combat the bad bacteria, essentially the bad bacteria is usually kept in check by the good bacteria outnumbering it. That is simply it. So rather than just simply taking a probiotic, you're looking to take foods or eat foods which promote a healthy bacterial balance in your gut. And this is different this will be different for people of different ethnic backgrounds. So over the last few hundred years, our diet has changed beyond recognition. If you were in the UK, you would have been eating little bits of meat, bits of bread, a lot of root vegetables, potatoes and so on. However, unless you were a merchant seaman a few hundred years ago in the UK, you would have never eaten a banana or an avocado. These now make up large parts of our diets, and people's gut bacteria which have evolved over millennia, have not had the chance to catch up. So what people often need to do not only is cut out triggers, but they need to kind of go back to eating foods that their gut flora would have evolved to deal with from the region of the world that they actually spent most time in historically, or where their ancestors spent most time in. And that will be different for someone who's of Chinese heritage to someone who's of French heritage.